name is Karina, this is Creative Everyday Life, and this is my knitting podcast that I started a long time ago, but I am trying to get back into it. I made one a month ago and I wanted to make a knitting update. I am just a little bit about myself. I am living in Denmark on a small homestead, or whatever you will call it, out on the countryside. We are trying to grow a lot of our own foods, and I like to do a lot of textile craft and fiber crafts in general, but knitting is probably my biggest craft love, if you know what I mean. I am sitting here drinking a cup of tea, and I brought with me some of the things that I've been working on the last month. It has been a very good knitting month, and I have been doing a lot of different things. I have finished a couple of projects and I have started some more, and I have also gotten some yarn that I want to make something out of. So yeah, I hope that you are well wherever you are, and maybe you are too, sitting and drinking a cup of tea or something cold if it's warm where you are, or whatever you want. And maybe you are like me. When I'm knitting, when I'm watching knitting podcasts, I am typically knitting or looking into knitting something. But yeah, anyways, I want to get into what I have been knitting. First of all, we can talk about what I'm wearing. So this sweater is one of my finished objects. I am wearing a fleece underneath because I am sitting almost outside, but this is in Danish it's called udstue, which means an outdoor living room, but it's not completely outdoor. It's more like almost like a greenhouse, but for sitting in and stuff like that. We do have a few plants out here, but that's not the point. I have a fleece underneath, so it might distract you. I don't hope so, but I'm wearing this beautiful sweater. It's 100% wool from this that is called naturul, which means nature wool, a natural wool. No, just nature wool it will probably be called. I don't know if you can buy this in other countries. It is made from the company Hjertegarn, which means heart yarn. I don't know if it's a Danish company, but it's at least Scandinavian, because I can say it in Danish without any problems. It's 100% wool, and it is for 100 grams there are 100 meters. So you could also use Alafos Lobi or any kind of wool that has the same gauge. The wool says on the package, we use that in Denmark a lot, but it says 6 to 7 millimeter needles. I'm not sure what I used because I'm knitting very loosely. But I've been knitting the pattern from Lene Holm Samsø, and the pattern is called Peacock Sweater. I do believe that this is also in English and a lot of other languages, but I'm not sure how many. But you can look into it if you want to. It is knitted top down. I don't know if you can tell by I'll just remove this. It has a long neckline. So if I'm not wearing anything underneath, I can have this next to my skin. I don't mind this. I don't think this is scratchy at all. I would, if it was Icelandic wool or more rustic wool, I would probably need to have something just between my neck, but I don't know. I'm not that sensitive to wool as some people are. Some things this is scratchy too. I don't think this is scratchy at all. I think it's very soft, but I am typically working with the Icelandic wool that is on the rustic side of it. So it is a bit more scratchy, and I don't think this is scratchy at all. I have actually been wearing this with only a t-shirt underneath, and I didn't think it was a problem, but I know a lot of people are very sensitive to wool. Yeah. But it is knit top down, and this means that there are a lot of garter stitch in the body part and on the sleeves that you are ending the knit by knitting this part. And I don't appreciate that part, because all the fun is done in the beginning and then all the boring is left in the end. I have been using it as a social knit and have brought it to work to knit on it, which have helped a lot, because I think it's very boring to just knit without any pattern and just garter, but it is also very relaxing. So if you want the challenge in the beginning and then just have like mindless knitting in the rest, this is a very good sweater. I think the pattern is very well written, and it comes in sizes from extra small to XXL. So most people will be able to find a sweater in their size, I think. But anyways, but this wool is it's very soft, I think, but I know that that is different from who you are. But I can't say anything about where it's from, if it's how it's dyed or anything. I have no idea. I don't even think it says which country it's made in. No, it doesn't. And because of that, I don't really appreciate it as much as I would an Icelandic wool, where I know it's from Iceland. I know that it's everything is locally made before it is shipped to Denmark, and Iceland is not too far away from Denmark either. It is about a 3-hour flight, so it's not that far away from Denmark. But yeah, so I appreciate the Icelandic wool a lot more, and I would also like to buy more local yarn instead, like the Danish wool. It is typically on the more expensive side, and it's typical, or a lot of it is very thin wool in the yarn. It's not so much of the heavier side, but gauge wise. But I would like to buy more of that in the future, if I can get myself away from the Let Lobby, because or Eastix yarn in general. I think the Icelandic wool is absolutely the best wool that I have been working with. It is very, very nice to work with, but I will come back to that. My second finished object is this mini shawl. It is not the Sophie shawl. A lot of people have been asking me if it is. It is. It's from Drops. They had one, and I don't remember the name of it, because everybody is saying, "Is it a Sophie shawl?" It is not. It is a free pattern, and you can just, I don't know how long the pattern says, but you can just keep on knitting it until you think it is big enough or wide enough or whatever you want, and then you can just flip it around and do the opposite on the other side, and not flip it around, just increase instead of decrease instead of increasing it. This made it both a very fun project. It is very mindless knitting, but there's still happening something, and there are only purl stitches on 4 stitches, 2 in each side, but other than that it is all normal knit stitch, which I appreciate. I don't like purling. I think it's very hard on my wrist, on my hands anyways. But also I had 2 balls of yarn, not this yarn, but the same 50 grams yarn balls that I didn't know what to use it with, and I decided to just knit this mini shawl. And when I got done with the one skein, I just started the increase, or a little before I started. I think this is the halfway point, so I didn't have a lot of leftover yarns, and I forgot the tag, but I can insert a picture of the yarn. I think it was Lima yarn, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't remember if it was mohair or if it was different than what I was used to, but it was a wool combination of some sort. But this is a very little thin, I'm just going to wear it again, scarf that I made myself on a shawl. I use it as a little scarf, and it's very nice for work and stuff like that. So that is my other finished object. If you are watching the last knitting video, you will know that I made one of these for my grandmother in a red color. It was also just made from scrap yarn. And on that note, I made her a hat too. I have gifted it away, so I will leave up a picture, and I have some video footage of it as well. So it is knitted from bottom up, and it has a lot of lace, and also, what is it called in English? There's also something that is called halpatent in it, and I'm struggling to remember what that is called in English. I don't remember what that is called, but when I was knitting the pattern, there is a lot of purl stitches in it, and I did not want to knit that. It was very hard for my wrist and hands, so I decided to flip it around and knit it on the wrong side. This made it a little bit of a challenge when I was decreasing, because you're decreasing in the pattern and increasing at the same time. The increases is the same, it's just yeah, it is the same, but the decreases, you have to make sure that the stitches are laying the right way. But other than that, it was a ton easier, so I would completely do that another time. And when I got to the end of the hat, I just flipped it around again and knitted on the right side. So that is how I constructed that hat. It was the leftover from the shawl that I gave her for Christmas that you can see a picture of here. I saw her this weekend, and she was wearing both of them, and I was very happy that she is getting use of out of them. The hat I made a bit shorter than in the pattern because she has hearing devices in her ears, and they will make a very high-pitched sound if anything is covering her ears. So she needs something that goes above and that she can use as like a little beret or something like that. But you can pull it down your ears if you want to. So yes. another finished object that I have made from my husband. So my husband wanted something to cover his ears, and he said that he not like a hat, because it gets too warm with a hat and it's too cold with like a cap, but so he wanted a headband of some sort, and he said that I could do whatever I wanted, as long as it was not a lot of colors. He wanted it to be neutral, but something that he can use when he's working on the farm. I was always saying, I don't know what to call it, the homestead. When he's working outside or he's fixing up tractors and stuff like that, he would like something that he can wear on his ears, because you get a lot of, well, you generate a lot of heat when you're working outside, but it's still cold when it's winter time. So, and he does not like wool at all. He's very sensitive to scratching. So I had some leftover yarn from this baby garment. I'm not sure what that is called. But I had some leftover yarn from that is completely acrylic. So I decided to knit him one with a pattern in, because I don't think it's fun to knit if there's happening nothing in it. And I found a pattern that I ended up going a little bit away from, because it was too narrow, and that meant that I had to use extra rounds, and that meant that the pattern was too tiny. So I made it different so that it would fit. But I will show you a picture of this drops pattern that I used. It is a free pattern again, so you can just go in and see it. But I ended up making it like this. It is knitted. First you are knitting a flat piece of garter stitch, then you will knit one round of purl, and then you will knit the pattern with the color motif on it. Then you will knit one round of purl, and then you will knit 2 rounds of knit stitch, and then you will sew it together. And I have sewed it in with these, I don't know if you can see, but to make it look like knit stitches, I have sewn it in like that. I'm not sure if that, what is that is called in English, but that is how I have sewn it together, and it has come out really well, I think. I actually got him to model, so here's a couple of pictures of him modeling with this beautiful headband.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful.
He thinks it's very beautiful too, and it fits, so it's really nice. And he found out that it can double as like a mini neck warmer too, so that is a bonus. But yeah, so this is another finished object. I spent like 3 days, I think, 3 or 4 days to make this. So it was a fast project. I did work a lot on it because I wanted to get the boring part over so I could make the fun part with the pattern. And the pattern was very fun. I really enjoy knitting any kind of color work. The original pattern had this part in it, but with a few extra stitches. But I added some trees in the bottom. I do think that I have seen this somewhere else, so it is not a completely original idea, but yeah, but you can see on this diagram how I made the pattern. So it is just to make it a pattern repeat that fits the number of stitches, and I decided to put these in between the trees so it kind of looks like snowflakes or stars or something above. I really like this pattern. I think it turned out really well, and you can turn it, of course, if you wanted to. It is a little bit, it's a little bit visible that I have sewn it together, but not as much as it could be, and I think you can just flip it if you didn't want the pattern, but I think it's a very beautiful pattern. Anyways, there was another finished object. The last finished object I have is kind of finished because I will just show you. So this is my temperature scarf over the year 2013. And I have crocheted all. It's not knit, it is crocheted. But I have crocheted it done, and I have added tassels in the bottom with the colors that I have been using for the temperatures. The only thing that this is lacking to be finished is that I have kept these markers in for now. This is just to show you which month it is, and when I have done this video I will be taking them out, and then I will probably do a photo shoot either today or one of the coming days. But let's just see my 2013 temperature blankets using the highest temperature of the day. So this is January, this is February, this is March, this is April, this is May, this is June, this is July, this is August, this is September, this is October, this is November, and this part is December of 2013, and that is the year that I got married, so it is a very special day to me. Not day, but year. And if I am not mistaken, is, I think this one, I'm not sure. December, November, October, December. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this one here, the last of the brown ones, is the day that we were married, if I'm not remembering wrongly. Yeah, this one is the day that we got married. So I will be taking these off and be able to just use it as a scarf. If I'm just showing you. So it is a small scarf, but you can tell these are of course super annoying right now, but other than that, it is a very beautiful scarf. I think it is 100% cotton, and that makes it, as far as I am thinking, or in my opinion, it makes it an indoor scarf or a summer scarf. It's not really a winter scarf at all for me. I like a lot of wool in the winters, and the cotton I just think is too cold. But it is, yeah, I'm fiddling around with it, but it is, I think it's a very pretty scarf anyway. I know this is not a knit project, but I think it turned out really well, and this was inspiration for one of my working projects. So I just wanted to know how this was working with the temperature blankets and stuff like that. This is of course a temperature scarf, so it's a bit smaller. I would completely do one of these temperature scarf another time. It was a lot of fun, and I made it in about 2 months, so it's not in this case a year long. I just took a year that I really liked, and then I knitted that. Or I crocheted, I didn't knit it, sorry. But I think this is a really cool way to make a pattern that is very original, because I made it from the town that we were living in at the year that we got married, and of course the country that I'm living in. But it would you will be able to make a completely different one if you were living in another place, or if you're not using the same colors. So the colors that I have been making it with is these colors. So this is of course temperature measured in Celsius, as that is what we're doing in Europe anyways. I'm not going to translate them to Fahrenheit, but you can of course do that yourself if you wanted to. But I found what the average temperature is in Denmark, and I made I divided them into categories so that I would not have a ton of different colors, but I have stuck with 10 colors, and it is -3 or below. That is around the 30th Fahrenheit, just to give you something. And then -2 to 0, 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, 17 to 20, 21 to 24, 25 to 29, and then above 30 degrees. This was all colors that I had laying around, but I can just mention that this one is actually, I dyed this from avocados. So it was originally white, but now it is, it was originally white, but this is turned out to be this pale pink color that I really like. So this was the one color that I dyed. The second one is this one. It is also avocado, but with a lot of iron. I do believe I was using rust water for this one, and I may have made a video about it. If I have, I will put it up here or in the cards below. But this was with the iron, and this was without. So it is a big color difference, but I think that both of these colors is super gorgeous. I have made a crocheted top also. It doesn't fit as well as I would like it to, and I actually don't like the crocheted fabric as much, and it might be because of it is cotton. It is a lot too stable and not very flexible, if you are asking me. But I might get use of it again. I think it turned out really beautiful, so I'm keeping it anyways. But other than that, it is all cotton except this one that is bamboo. And I was unsure if there was... It was a little bit of a gamble to put it in, but there have been only, I think, 3 days where it was used in this, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there's only these days. So 3 days with above 30 degrees, it is not a lot. And 30 is like, I'm not sure how high that is. 100 maybe? I'm not sure. I will leave it here if I can find it. But yes. So this is my last finished object of this month. But this was, as I have told you, and I told you last time, a test run for making a temperature blanket of this year. the temperature blanket will be a gift for someone, but I'm not telling you who because they might be watching. But let me show you how far I've gotten on that one. So this is the month of January. I made it from the city local to the person that would be gifted it, so I'm not telling you. Right now you can know in about a year when it has been gifted away. But this is the month of January, and I have ended it with a gray stripe, just that I have started with gray stripes, just to mark where the months are, because that is one of the things that I think is a shame with this one, that as soon as I take these out, I will not be able to tell anymore. But I don't think that I can make anything that will look pretty to show them. I have thought a lot of things, but I am not coming up with any solutions that I like. So I will take them off and just leave it be for the scarf, but for the blanket, I will definitely be putting this in. Yeah, I am keeping a journal next to me. I'm just checking that there's no spoiler information. There's not, so that I can tell where I have gotten to. And as you can tell, whole of January has been filled out. I'm writing the temperature, and then when I have knitted it, I will paint in the color. I made one mistake, and I just have colored on a scrap paper from the back of the, or I cut out a piece in the back of this journal, colored them and taped them on, so I have the right colors here. And then I have my color chart over here, and as you can tell, I have been using the same temperature, divided the temperature the same way, but with a completely different color palette, which makes this a completely different project in very many ways. This is 100% wool, so it is also different in that way. I'll just show you. It is Drops Alaska, and yes, it is 100% wool. It is made in the EU. Yeah. So it is not far away from, but I am not sure where they have made it. EU can be a lot of countries, but anyways. So 100% wool, no superwash. I really like that, and I find this extremely soft as well compared to the Icelandic. It is actually a really nice yarn. This is 70 meters or 77 yards for 50 grams. So yeah, it is a little bit it's a little bit bigger than the Little Obi, but it is a very nice and affordable wool. And I would actually love to make something out of this again. I really like the wool. It is very soft and nice to work with, and I like the colors, and it is rustic enough to make the stitches clearly visible. I am using a needle number, not number, but it's 4 millimeters or US size 6. And when I'm knitting this when I'm knitting this blanket, of course I'm using the color that is the high temperature of the day, but other than that, when I have made 4 rows, when I have made 1 row, I will leave an end out here, and when I have made 4 rows, I will bind them together like this, so I will make small tassels out of them. If I'm not doing that, and the reason that I was actually thinking of doing that in the end when I have finished the blanket, but you might be able to see that the stitches are simply very loose out here, and I do not like that at all. So when I have 4 rounds, I will secure them and tighten them and everything, and then I will make a knot out here. It is actually one of the only things that I think is annoying about this. It is hard to make them the same length, especially in the beginning. It is not so much a problem in the other end, but because you are knitting a stitch after you have made it, some of them have simply come a lot shorter than others. So I think that is quite annoying, but this makes it so that I don't have to make purl stitches other than the little part out here. I will do it every other time. And the same down here, it was made, I was knitting back and forth, so it have a bit of purl stitches on the front, but the rest will be completely garter stitch. And I really like that part. It makes it so that the colors doesn't disappear into each other. So yes, and I have made it only this long. I think it was 150 stitches, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there's 150 stitches. So it is not a big blanket, and for the purpose, it is perfect. It will be about the same, a little longer in length, I'm assuming. But it is working out the way that I wanted it to. So this is the update. I will make another update in about a month, so you can tell how long I have gotten with this pattern. And this is actually, this blanket. This is actually what have gotten me into making the podcast again, because if I make nothing else, I can use 2 minutes, I think it's 2 or 5 minutes a day knitting, and then I will be able to give you an update in a month. So this is what I have been making this month on this blanket. But of course that is not the only thing that I have been making. I have been starting a lot of projects. I decided that before this one was done, I was not allowed to buy yarn for another sweater until I have finished some projects. And this was the one that I chose to completely finish before I was able to allowed to buy another sweater or buy yarn for another sweater. But that didn't stop me from buying yarn. So I was in Self-Made just to look around, as one does, and I found a couple of patterns. So the one pattern is this one. It is a sock pattern, as you can see, that it's called Snowball. Snowball fight socks, apparently. And they recommended using their own yarn that is called Sensible. It is 100% wool, but it is superwash, so it should be better for socks. I don't really like superwash, and I want to find sock yarn that is not superwash, but a lot of wool is simply not stable enough or wearable enough so that it would be able to take the beating of being used as socks. But I decided to buy these two colors for 50 grams. There are 144 meters, so it is a quite thin yarn, in my opinion. And the recommended size of needles is 3 millimeters. And I think that is what I'm using here. I'm not sure. I'm using sock needles to make this. So I have started on the one sock, and it is turning out quite beautiful. This part was a little bit annoying. I don't remember how I was making it, but it was a lot of increases and decreases and stuff to make these, I think it's called chevrons. It looks very pretty. So I will of course do it as well on the other sock, but I do not appreciate the working part of it. But I did love making, here's the back side, making the pattern when I got to that. So I will definitely be working more on these. It is it's not a pattern that you can memorize. It looks like this. It is, I believe, yeah, it is a free pattern on their website. I got it printed out for 5 kroners, which is like not a lot. What is that? Like $1 or something. So it is. I wanted to have it in a physical way, but otherwise you can get it free on their website. But I think this is a very gorgeous pattern, and I will definitely be making them. You can of course make them in all kind of different colors, but I wanted something that was my colors. As you can tell, I love blue, and yeah, and I love the simplistic, and I like that it is kind of neutral because of the gray, so it is the pattern that will draw attention and not the colors. So I bought yarn for this one, but I had to buy some more than that. So I also in Selfmade bought this kind of wool. It is called Warm Hearted. It is 100% organic wool, if you can see. And I chose this brown color. It is not a deep brown, not like this one. So it's a little bit more pale color. But I still really like it. It's kind of neutral, but still has a warm tone to it. And 50 grams is 100 meters. So I think it's the same as this one, right? Yeah, it is the same as Let Lobe, if you know that. But it's not rustic. It is very soft, and therefore this is perfect, in my opinion, for a baby sweater. So I again got print out. This is called A Very Classic Sweater. It looks like this. And I have been working on it. I have finished the body part. The body part sounds wrong. I have finished the body, and I am working on the sleeves. So there is a lot of twist in this. I have been using a lot of stitch markers just to make sure that when I'm going to twist it. But I think it is turning out so cute. This is going to be for my nephew. He is 3 or 4 weeks old at this point, so he is not very old. But I'm making it a size half a year, I think 6 months. But I don't know if it will fit at that age or later. There's a plane. I hope that is not annoying you, but I will just drink a cup of tea while it goes away. But I am done with this part, and I'm getting close to being done with the sleeves, which I'm very excited about, because I think that the yoke is the most fun part of any sweater ever. So I love that it is from the bottom up, and I love that I'm almost at the best part of it. But it has been a very fun pattern. It is very easy. If you know how to do cable, you can definitely do this. And if not, it could be a good beginning pattern to do cable, because the twist is always happening at the same time. So every other of these, you will make a stitch. You will twist the big ones, and other than that, it is of course a normal stitch and a purl stitch in between. So there is purling in this, but it is not a lot. So I think this will be a gorgeous little sweater for him whenever he can fit into it. Yeah. So this is what I also bought it for. But as you can tell, I got finished with this one, so I was allowed by my own rules to buy yarn for another sweater. Of course, I had to do that. So, what I have been buying, what I bought was these 3 different colors. It is Icelandic wool, it is Letlopi, and I just absolutely love these colors. I wanted to buy something that was either, I wanted to knit something that was either green or brown, and I decided to do both with light gray as a contrast to the two. And I have started knitting a sweater. It is an East-Tech design. It is a free pattern. You can find it on Ravelry. It was for, I think it was their 20th anniversary, and it had been made in a lot of different colors. But I will show a picture here of what it's looking like. I have been in love with this pattern for about 5 years, and I have never gotten around to knit one, mostly because one of my very best friends have knitted one years ago, and I didn't want it to make one that was exactly like hers, even though it's very gorgeous. And I couldn't decide on what to do, and there were so many other things that I wanted to knit to. So now I finally got back to it. Yes, this is what I have gotten so far. I absolutely love this pattern. It is so gorgeous. I'm making it a size large, which is what I'm normally, this is also a size large. This is what I normally have been knitting, so I hope it will fit as well as it's normally doing. But I didn't make the pattern size large because I don't know why, but it was like the small size fitted the small size, and the large size was like an XL size in the patterns that I have otherwise been using. So I don't know why there's this big jump. So I was rewriting some of the pattern just to make it fit. It is a very small rewrite because I just made fewer stitches than the large in the pattern, and then made it fit with the pattern repeat in the bottom and on the sleeves, and it actually fitted right away, so I didn't have to calculate anything. And then as I got to the yoke, I was also checking if that would fit with the stitch count, and that I do believe that was fitting too. So I did a little bit different than the pattern said, because I don't want it to be ginormous, but I don't want it to be too small either. Oh sorry, I said the small size and then the large, but the medium and the large, there was a big jump. So the medium was what I'm used to being the right size, and the large was what I'm used to being a size bigger, more what my husband would fit than me. But this is what I've been working on so far. I have gotten to the extreme boring part where there's nothing happening for a long time. But yes, I was just measuring. I am at 22 centimeters and it needs to be 44, so I'm halfway on the body. Then of course I will be knitting the sleeves before going to the yoke where all of the fun is happening. But I really love not just this pattern, but any pattern where you have a little bit of color work in the bottom of the sleeves and body, and then a lot on the top, because it just gets me kick-started in the bottom and I can play with the colors and it's a lot of fun, and then all the boring will be done with and I can go to the yoke part that I really love. That part is so motivating for me, so I am stitching away just to get to that part. So I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping to go to Iceland this summer and I want to wear this on Iceland with the Icelandic wool, and I also want to buy wool for another sweater while we are there and start working on it, so it is almost an authentic Icelandic sweater, because actually you have, if it should be a real Icelandic sweater, it should be knitted on Iceland with the Icelandic wool. The ones that I call Icelandic sweaters is of course some that I have been knitting in Denmark and not from Iceland, so they are kind of cheating a little bit because they are not made in Iceland. But I love the yoke patterns that Icelandic sweaters have, and a lot of Danish, Norwegian, and Finnish, Swedish patterns have the yoke parts very beautiful made. I know a lot of Danish knitting is very simple, and that is just some of it is beautiful, but a lot of it I just think is so boring. I don't want to knit that at all. I want something of the color work, like the Vildmarksgenser and other knits like that. But yeah, this is the one that I'm working on right now, and I'm super excited to get to the yoke. Yes. Another thing that I'm not allowed to knit on yet before I have finished at least one of these projects. I have decided I'm very strict on this, but I think I will knit this first, and then I will be allowed to start on another project. But it is some yarn that I got from one of my co-workers. I have gotten 12 skeins of this yarn. I don't know this yarn brand at all. It is something that has been laying on her shelf for years, I think, and she didn't know what to do with it. I think it's one of those impulse buys that we knitters do sometimes. I really try to only buy for specific projects, but it is hard sometimes. I really want to buy yarn just to buy it, but I try not to do that. But when people are giving it to me for free, I can't say no. If it anyways is something that I think I could use. It is the same batch of yarn, so I don't know why it is looking very different when I just put it up to each other, but I'm thinking that the darker color might be in the middle of the ones here. It is one of those self-striping yarn that has a lot of the gray all over, and then it changes colors on the go. I don't know. And yes, it is called Lana Gatto, I think. Lana Gatto? Don't know. It is made in Italy, and I'm not sure exactly what this is made of, because it says 50% Lana wool, and I looked on the internet. Lana means wool, so this is made of 50% wool, I guess. But half of it is wool, and then 30% is acrylic, and 20% is whatever that is. No, I don't know what it is. I have searched the internet, but nothing has come up, and I might be writing something wrong. When I was writing the Himalaya or whatever, it says it is so close to Himalaya mountains, so it just said that I was writing it wrong and I should type that instead. I simply don't know what it is, but I'm assuming that at least 50% is wool. and then I don't know what dress is, but it is super duper soft and fluffy and everything. I want to make something out of this, but I can't decide what to make. Either I would like to make like a shawl of some sort, or there is enough for a vest too, or I could simply say this is this is 50 gram is 50 meters, so 100 gram would be 100 meters, just like this. And I could make a color sweater using scrap of this color, or the Alefos Lobby, but it would of course be this marbled effect all over the place where this is. So there's 600 grams or 12 balls. But please let me know what you think will be best for this. I don't know if I should use like the Vildmarkenser, if I should use that kind of pattern, or if I should make like a shawl like Fiber Tales. She has made a very beautiful shawl. She is also a Danish knitter, and she's living on Fyn. I'm living on Jylland, so it's not the same part of the land, but I love her designs. It is very simple but still very interesting, her patterns, and so I was thinking maybe doing that, or just making my own take on that kind of style. I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you think could be a good topic for this, if you have any opinions. Otherwise, I'm sure I will figure it out. But I need to do this first, according to my own rules. So yeah, that is next up. Yeah. So as you may be able to tell, I have actually made a lot this month. I am so happy about it because I have not been knitting a lot for the last couple of years. I have simply not been able to, both because of I have MS and that has taken a lot of energy, but I have also been knitting too much beforehand. I was knitting I've been knitting a lot of hours. When I get into knitting, when I start knitting, I am having a bit of trouble stopping again, because I think it's so fun that I just want to do it 8 hours or more each day, and my wrists are simply not happy about it. They give me a lot of pain if I've been knitting for too long. So I try not to overdo it this time, and it is a little bit hard not to do that. But if I feel any pain, I will stop and not start until it is okay again. But it is still a little rough to knit longer times. Then yeah, that is what it is. If you have any tips on how to get better, or if you have any ideas of things that I can do in between knitting, or maybe someone else can benefit from it, then please leave a comment. And also, by the way, thank you so much for the comments that I get under my videos. I'm not always, I don't always have the energy to answer them, but I read every comment and I really appreciate them a lot. And I would, at this point at least, I will give them a like if I see them, and maybe even write something. I still don't have a lot of energies, and the only reason that I'm able to make this video today is because I have been taking some days off. I have some vacation days left over, so I was able to do that. But otherwise, I am very drained in the weekdays from working. So, and yeah, so I'm not always able to do a lot. But you can follow me on Instagram if you want to. I will occasionally put up pictures and stuff. I typically we write in Danish on Instagram, but anyways, I have been talking for over an hour now, and it is getting cold out here, so I think I will be going inside. Thank you all for watching, and wherever you are, I hope you have a very blessed day. Let me know what you are working on. Write anything. I really appreciate the comments, and that is actually what I wanted to say about them, that I'm so thankful that you are watching and that you are leaving so nice comments down below. It really makes my day every time I read any of them, so thank you so much. I will be back in about a month to at least give an update on my blanket, but yeah, I think I will be knitting some more than that. I've really gotten my knitting mojo back, and I enjoyed it so much. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for checking in, and yeah, have a very nice day, and God bless you. Bye.